Alright, welcome back. So I apologize for not releasing another video, like a tip video on last Saturday. I was at Rainforest, and I was going to do something on how to properly mix isopropyl alcohol, which is pretty simple. So someone had suggested that I talk to you guys about how to clean the head, like manually. Some fursuit heads, and you should really check with your maker, are capable of being thrown into the washing machine. I don't like doing that because it is the most important part, in my opinion, of the fursuit. So I prefer to spot clean, and I don't think mine's even able to be thrown in the washing machine because it has some paints on it that are water soluble, etc. So you really need to ask your fursuit maker about the proper way to maintain the fursuit head. I'm going to show you guys how to do it with straight up water alcohol solution, because that is the best way to deep clean. This is deep cleaning your fursuit head, not maintaining, but deep cleaning. So I'll get started. The first step I'm going to do is mixing up some alcohol and water solution. Alright, so a couple things to note first. Isopropyl alcohol is what's called hygroscopic. What that means is it absorbs water from the surrounding environments, like the air. And 70% alcohol in isopropyl alcohol is considered to be the most stable. Now, this particular type of alcohol, at 70%, if you water it down any more, will work just fine, but you want to make sure that you are watering it down to no more than about 35% alcohol to water volume. Alright, so first thing to note, this is a 3-ounce container, and this has the ability to measure out in ounces. When I do the measurements, I'll get a close-up on them, and it is very important to note that you're not counting 100% of the mix, pre-mixed volume. You're only counting 100% of the 70% volume, because how alcohol works is alcohol has a larger space in between its molecules, which the water fits between. So it's not really absorbing the water. It's really just making more room for it. So while there's already water in here, that's filled up 30% of the space. So we're only counting on the other 70% in our calculations. So if I wanted to get this down to 35%, I'd mix it 50-50, but if I wanted it 40%, then I'd mix it 33% water and 66% isopropyl mix. So that is really what's important in this particular thing. Now, that is a rough estimate. There's a calculator, and I will link that in the description below for you. It's an online one, but for this particular purpose and this particular application, using that kind of a ratio is fine. I'm going to go with a 40% mix because it just makes life a little easier, and I can show you how to properly mix that at 40%. Approximately mix that to 40%. Alright, so what we're interested in is this small little line right down there. That's the 1 ounce line. And because this is a 2 ounce thing, this is where I'm going to fill the water to, and then that's where I'm going to fill the alcohol to. That's the 2 ounce line. It was really that simple. That's how much water I needed for that stupidly small amount. And if you wanted to, at this point, in the measuring cup, you can fill it up to the 3 ounce line. I can do that now because that's 1 plus 2 is 3, right? Alright, that's mixing 2 ounces of alcohol with 1 ounce of water, and you can already see it's well mixed. It kind of gets a little murky at first, because the water is finding spaces within the molecules. to basically work its way in, and then it becomes clear. All right, so I'm bringing this back over to here. It's a little easier to show it over here. It's really that simple. You just pour it right on in. And I think it's a little nicer to do it this way for a couple reasons. Now, this is a 3 ouncer. It should have gone all the way to the very top, but there's a little bit remaining. That's the amount of water difference that was found its way into between the molecules of the alcohol. So anyway, I put this cap back on, shake it up, and that's that for the alcohol part. And you now have a 40% alcohol mix. All right, so it's after rainforest, and I lent both of these suits out to a couple people, and I don't want to get sick. It's been, it was a really kind of a weird rainforest in my opinion, and my basic thoughts on it are, I'm not actually 100% sure I'll be going back. It was just at least not in the same capacity that I was in this year. So, you know, because I lent this out to some people, I have to clean it out from the inside so I don't get sick the next time I wear it, just in case someone caught con crud and left it inside. So what I'm gonna do specifically with Bite here, to give you guys an idea, Bite has a lycra base on the inside of it, some foam and cloth on the inside to give it an appearance externally, and basically what you do is you just saturate the inside of your fursuit head. Try, at least I try, everyone does it a little differently, some people don't do it at all. I just try to saturate it, like really saturate it, and I use alcohol, and I know that I said in previous videos that I like to use Febreze for taking like maintenance care. This is deep cleaning, so manually deep cleaning. So you want to be very careful not to heavily saturate the eyes or any places that have paint, and you just basically give it this crazy like saturation of alcohol and water. At about 40% alcohol, it's not, I mean, you can smell it, but it's not like stupidly nauseous than if you were spraying straight 70%. Just because it has more alcohol in it doesn't mean it's going to kill anything better than anything else. A 90% alcohol, like I said before, the alcohol is hygroscopic, which means that it takes water in. 70% is very stable, and anything more than that is just okay. The reason why I suggest 70% for people to mix with is because it's easier to find. It's usually cheaper to find. It's stable. You could use it straight out. You wouldn't have to do anything much with it. And if you opened up 90+% and leave it open to the elements, you'll eventually come back to 70% alcohol. So just to keep that in mind. All right, so now that that's done with this, I'm gonna move this one out of the way, and I'll show you how to do tops on this particular one here. So this is a sealed paint, but alcohol will actually over time wear out the sealing on this, and this is painted on. And these are not waterproof paints here. These are water soluble paints, so I can't keep this guy out in rain for a very long time or this will start to run. So I want to be very careful with this section here, the muzz. So what would be wise of me to do is to go get some tape and to tape up the spots around here that I don't want to start running. So I'm gonna go do that real quick and we'll be right back. I want to talk to you about something regarding doing this. Now I used basic masking tape here, but it would be highly recommended that you use something like frog tape. Now frog tape will actually make sure there's a clean line. It tends to absorb any of the water or moisture that gets up against the tape, and it would probably be a better job at protecting this. However, masking tape should work fine for protecting just a light spray, but make sure you give your suit a 1-over. So one of the things that I noticed is that this is all painted in, probably with paint that will wash out with water, And I found my ducts were also made with the same material, and some other areas around the suit was also that way. So I decided that I was gonna use a little bit of time, mask everything up, and it looks like he's like got in a fight with the tape dispenser and lost. Anyway, so key thing to remember is all suits are made differently, and you need to really look for these kind of things. Now, in this situation here, I'm gonna just do my best to avoid this. I could stuff some paper towels in here and then tape it up, but I lose out on some other spots, and this really isn't a spot that I care much about to pay attention to in this clean. I'm more interested in this area here, this area here, and the back of the head, because that's where a lot of people tend to pet the suits. So you don't really need to do this a whole lot, but I'm showing you guys out of principle. So it's pretty straightforward. Remember to kind of protect the eyes when you're doing this. And it's just a simple brush over. Like if you were to be going to like a, I don't know, your hairstylist. Now, if you guys watched my video on cleaning, this is starting to become really nauseous, so make sure you do this in a well-ventilated area. This is what I mean by spraying these as your aftercare in like a well-populated area is kind of a dick move, because it smells and it's very disorienting to some. Alright, so make sure that it's damp, mostly all over, kind of work it in to the Fursuit. And the alcohol content will do the rest. So if you watched my other video on how to clean your fursuit, legitimately clean your fursuit, then you'd know that the next step after you've sprayed it down with this is to, you know, give it a few to let the alcohol work in, and then you brush. And there's a proper way to actually brush. Now, I don't know if this will zoom in properly enough, but you can see that the spines on these brush, if you go like this, will pull the fur away, so you want to be going like this with your brush when you're brushing. So I tend to hold the brush kind of like this, so that when I'm brushing, I go like this, it pulls less fur, it does the same thing. Then you just want to brush your suit in this stage, and you'll do this a couple times over the course of an hour probably, till it all completely dries. And the alcohol will aid in drying. So if you pet your suit now, it's only a couple minutes later, it's probably already feeling a little bit dry, and that's because the alcohol evaporates out. So make sure you know which way the fur is going, and then just kind of work your way from the back up. And it's pretty straightforward. All right, that's pretty much how you do a basic sanitation on the cleaning, deep clean sanitation. I'm gonna let Bite Cat soak and air dry out, and I'm gonna let the remainder of this air dry out, and then in an hour or so I'm gonna give this another brush down, and he's pretty much good to go. And that's really once it's wet, you wanna sculpt all of the mats out, and then when it's dry again, you want to basically just work the remaining so that it looks nice again. So other than that, I'll probably throw some dryer sheets in here to help with the smell, but you really don't want to wear this until you can't smell any more of that vapor in there. So the fumes and the vapor, that will really screw you up. So there we go. I hope that was informative for you all, and I hope that this helped some of you out there. Just remember to contact your suit maker to ask them the recommended way to wash the face, the mask, because each suit is built differently. Each suit has its own different technique. This just happens to be a basic one that I can do on my own. Yours will probably be different. Just keep that in mind. So and with that, I'm going to be entering the MFF dance comp with both of these this year. Who knows if I'll actually make it through to the show, because it's a pretty awesome one. It's a pretty big one. But if you guys are there, feel free to root me on. And I'm going to leave this video with one question. Because you've never seen me dance, and because I obviously can't put myself in this, other than me, because I'm not really a major fursuit dancer, who is your favorite major fursuit dancer that you currently have out there? And if you'd be so inclined, if they have a YouTube account, could you link it in the comment section below? And if this video helped you, remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with other people. This series is really about helping to educate people on how to properly take care of their fursuits, and I try to do the best I possibly can. So with that, have a great evening. Catch you later.